Welcome to Britannic, Patroness of the Mediterranean. This is an excellent virtual museum developed by Vintage Digital Revival, the same people who are working on Titanic Honour and Glory. The H.M.H.S. Britannic was the third and last in the trio of Olympic-class ocean liners. All of them were built by the Harland and Wolff shipyard of Belfast, Northern Ireland, in the early 1910s. Of course, the other two ships in this class were the legendary Titanic and Olympic. For those who are not very knowledgeable on the history of Britannic, like me, the developers have included this very detailed history of the ship as part of the virtual museum. In POTM, you get the Britannic in both their authentic hospital ship guise, as well as a fictional RMS/White Star Line livery. In real life, Britannic was requisitioned for use as a hospital ship during World War I, never actually carried civilian passengers. In November 1916, she tragically sank near the Greek island of Kea, with the loss of 30 lives. The sinking was caused by the ship hitting a naval mine of the Imperial German Navy. Even though the real ship didn't last long in service, we still have this excellent virtual recreation to explore, with thanks to the aforementioned VDR for their phenomenal efforts to recreate this incredible vessel with such amazing detail. Quick disclaimer, this is an entirely independent review and is not sponsored nor affiliated with VDR themselves. Now we'll have a look around some areas of the H.M.H.S. Britannic, starting with a walk around the top deck, as well as a quick look at the bridge and some of the beds for the wounded soldiers. Although it probably goes without saying, I honestly think the graphics in this game / virtual museum are absolutely phenomenal. The lighting and sheer amount of detail make for a wonderfully immersive experience, and quite frankly I think these are some of the best graphics I've ever seen in any sort of video game. In some ways, it feels to me like Train Sim World 2 now has some stiff competition. For our first interior scene, we have the forward grand staircase. I dare say it would have looked much fancier if Britannic had ever run in White Star Line service. Now we come to the Regal Suite on B deck. After this, we'll have a look at the Georgian Suite on C deck, followed by one of the swimming baths and one of the boiler rooms. And surely I'm not the only one who thinks of Corporal Jones from Dad's Army when he sees these rifles with fixed bayonets. The last part of our tour takes us deep into the heart of the ship. This is boiler room number 6, and despite this not being real, I could honestly still feel the intense heat as if I was actually in a real ship's boiler room. Saying that, in real life I have actually ridden on at least one steamboat, except it wasn't a huge ocean liner, but rather the paddle steamer Waimarie in Whanganui, New Zealand. Incidentally, one of those times when I rode on that paddle steamer I actually remember getting to shovel coal in the boiler. And that concludes our partial tour of the Britannic. Before we end the video, I'd like to quickly show you how she looks in her fictional White Star Line guise. Here she is as the H.M.H.S. Britannic. Had she survived the war, it's likely she would have been put into civilian service and operated in conjunction with her sister Olympic. As most of you will probably know, the RMS Titanic sunk in April 1912, 4 years prior to her sister. As for Olympic herself, she actually remained in service until the mid-1930s. Thank you for watching this special video about the H.M.H.S. Britannic. Despite primarily being a rail fan, in case you couldn't already tell, I do still have a casual interest in ships like the Olympic class liners, and I do like to look at different subjects on the channel from time to time. Take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.